अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं हूं मोहसिन ज़हीर। आज एक बार फिर हम आपके साथ अपने स्पेशल प्रोग्राम मीट दी कैंडिडेट के साथ मौजूद हैं। आपको मालूम है कि न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट में 28 जून को प्राइमरी इलेक्शन होने जा रहे हैं। इन प्राइमरी इलेक्शन में न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट के गवर्नर, लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर और न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट असेंबली और डेलीगेट्स और दीगर ओहदों के लिए इलेक्शन हो रहे हैं। इस दफ़ा न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट में प्राइमरी इलेक्शंस 2 दफ़ा हो रहे हैं। पहले प्राइमरी इलेक्शंस जो इस महीने जून 28 को होंगे और दूसरे प्राइमरी इलेक्शन जो है वो अगस्त में होंगे। अमूमन प्राइमरी इलेक्शन एक ही दिन और एक ही साथ होते हैं, लेकिन इस दफ़ा दो मुख्तलिफ वक्फों के साथ इलेक्शन इसलिए होने जा रहे हैं कि डिस्ट्रिक्टिंग यानी कि हल्का बंदियाँ हुई, उनकी वजह से हल्के तब्दील हुए, लिहाजा जो कुछ हल्कों के इलेक्शन है वो बाद में होंगे। मैं इस वक्त मौजूद हूँ मिस्टर कैनेथ चू के साथ। कैनेथ चू न्यूयॉर्क के इलाके क्वींस और क्वींस के इलाके फ्लशिंग के न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट असेंबली डिस्ट्रिक्ट 40 से न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट असेंबली के लिए रन कर रहे हैं। ये एक बहुत डाइवर्स डिस्ट्रिक्ट है। यहाँ पर इमिग्रेंट कम्युनिटीज़ बड़ी तादाद में मौजूद हैं, चाइनीज़ कम्युनिटी बड़ी तादाद में मौजूद है, पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन कम्युनिटी और उनके अदारे और मसाजिद वो भी बड़ी तादाद में मौजूद हैं। लिहाजा इस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में होने वाले इलेक्शन का बराह रास्त ताल्लुक इमिग्रेंट कम्युनिटी से है और बिलखुसूस हमारी पाकिस्तानी अमेरिकन कम्युनिटी से है। और इस डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जो लोग रन कर रहे हैं उनके बारे में आपको आगाह करना नहायत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि ये लोग जो इलेक्ट होंगे ये फिर अल्बनी न्यूयॉर्क स्टेट के कैपिटल में पहुंचेंगे, जहां पर अहम पॉलिसी साज और कानून साजी के हवाले से ये अपना रोल प्ले करते हैं। सो मिस्टर कैनेथ चू, thank you very much for with us.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
To speak to the Pakistani community, to let them understand how I can help them when elected.
Yeah, your district is very special to me. When I came to this country and when I moved to New York, first time I moved to this area and I stayed here for a while. I started my first job here and I know this area is very diverse. Lot of immigrant communities live in this district. So can you please tell us about District 40th for the New York State Assembly? Which neighborhood comes into your district?
Sure. Yes, as you said, Flushing is a very diverse community. Despite the majority being Chinese, but it is diverse. We have Indian, we have Pakistanis, we have Hispanics, whites, African Americans. We have nature developments as well as temples and mosques towards the southern part and the eastern part. So Flushing is like a hot melting pot. It represents Queens as well as New York City very, very well. So yeah.
So Kenneth, tell us about yourself. Are you the first generation immigrant? You born here or you moved with your parents? And tell us about your little bit background so our community could got to know who you are.
Yes, my parents immigrated to New York about 50 years ago from Hong Kong. My brother and I was fortunate to be born and raised in New York, originally from Chinatown, then in Brooklyn and now in Flushing. And just like the Pakistani community, my parents are working class immigrants. My father was a chef, my mom worked in a factory, and they worked long, long hours to make sure that me and my brother can get the education, the schooling that we can. And just like most immigrants that come to this country, we believe that this country is fairer to us. It's a system of laws as well as a great education system for working class families like many Pakistanis and Chinese families to go through education, to get out of poverty, to start their own businesses, buy their own homes, okay, and live in peace. That's what we are trying to do.
All right. So please tell us and tell your voters and our viewers and readers and constituents also when there's going to be primary elections and when people can vote early or mail-in ballot they can use, and when there will be an election, and what should you want to tell them?
So just a little bit more. I've been serving the community for 17 years.
Good.
The first 7 years, I've been an instructor training individuals that have mental retardation and developmental disability. And I didn't choose politics. Politics chose me. Back in 2012, when Superstorm Sandy hit New York, I went to volunteer and was quickly recruited by the assembly member, Felix Ortiz, who represented that district. And I was younger then, had a little bit more time, so I wanted to give back. What I initially thought was 2 months, 3 months of volunteer work became 1 year, then 2 years, and then 10 years in politics right now. And the more I understand about government and politics, the more angry I am, the more unfair I feel the system is, especially towards Asians and immigrants. Most Asians, English is not their first language.
Right.
They come to this country, the laws are different, the culture is different, the customs are different. And as great as America has treated immigrants, our government needs to do more to help our immigrants by providing more English programs, by providing information in the language that they understand, whether it's Urdu or Chinese or Korean. That is very essential, okay, especially for first-generation immigrants.
That's right.
Yes. And the primary is on June 28th. Early voting starts June 18th to June 26th. It's very.
So what does early voting mean?
Early voting.
People can go and vote before election day.
Correct. It gives more time, okay, for voters out of their busy schedules to go vote, to make their voices heard, because voting is the ultimate power and voice that they have to tell our government what they want, who they want, what kind of policies and programs they want. And just like my family, because of the long hours of work, many immigrants, even after they become citizens, they don't have time to go vote. And even when they go vote, they don't know where to vote, who to vote, how to vote. So that requires information from our government to continuously outreach to the immigrant community, so they know their rights, so they know where to vote and how to do so. Our government needs to consistently and constantly empower the immigrant community, because we are one. We want Pakistanis that become citizens, or Chinese that become citizens, or any other ethnic group that becomes citizens, okay, to know that, okay, we're not just opening the doors for you to come. We are one family, one big family. We are diverse. We speak different languages, we have different cultures, but we share the same similar dreams. It is to live in peace, for our children to have a great education, for our seniors to be taken care of, for those that seek to start businesses to have that opportunity.
Right. So 28 जून को कैनेथ बता रहे थे कि प्राइमरी इलेक्शन होने जा रहे हैं. सो मैं इनसे ये भी पूछूंगा और आपके लिए भी जानना ज़रूरी कि प्राइमरी इलेक्शन में सिर्फ अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड डेमोक्रेट हैं तो वही वोट डाल सकते हैं, और अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड रिपब्लिकन हैं तो वो अपनी पार्टी लाइन पर आप वोट डालें. सो June 28th is a primary election.
Yes.
So please tell our viewers that who can vote on June 28th or in this election. Only registered Democrats.
Correct. Okay. Only those registered Democrats that reside in District 40, which covers Flushing, Murray Hill, Mitchell Linden area, roughly from 20th Road on the north to Cherry Avenue on the south, from College Point Boulevard on the west to 164th Street. So it's like a little square. Okay. It's not the district itself is not that big because the concentration of the population in the condos and co-ops, but we also have homeowners.
Right. So, and Kenneth, one more thing, like you said, you did not choose politics, politics chose you. So, what do you think, what do you foresee, what would be the biggest political challenges you are going to confront during this primary election?
So over the last few months, I've spoken to thousands and thousands of families, regular folks, working class folks, from all course of life, from doctors to the homeless, from small business owners to developers. And the priority number one is public safety. In the subway, we need to bring back the transit police. In the schools, we need to hire thousands of more school safety agents to make sure that our children are safe in school to learn and develop, as well as more police on the street to ensure that our seniors can enjoy the parks. Tourists and consumers can come down to Flushing to enjoy the food, the music, shopping. We have Macy's every day on Main Street and Roosevelt. Hundreds of thousands of people walk through there. It's our government's basic function to keep our community safe. If they cannot do that, they should not do anything else. That's priority number one. Number two is we're still coming out of the COVID pandemic. Right. Many small businesses, especially immigrant small businesses, are still—
They suffered a lot.
Yes, they have suffered. And as a government, as a city, we need to support them to make our city better, okay? So more people have jobs. That's why I have two major points, okay, to promote. One is to waive the first 3 years state taxes for small businesses. Studies and research has consistently shown half of all small businesses fail within the first 5 years. So we should give them a helping hand and say, hey, we want you, we want to help you, we want you to thrive, we want you to grow and hire more people. The second one is walk to work tax credit for businesses. As you see in Flushing, lots of people comes with lots of traffic, whether it's bus traffic, truck traffic, car traffic, and it's a mess, you know. So we want to incentivize businesses to hire locally, so the community can grow naturally. There's so much talent here, especially from all the immigrant community. So much talent here. We have enough. We don't need people to come from New Jersey or from Long Island. You know, when they hire locally, they're likely to walk to work or take mass transit to work, saving them time and helping the environment. And when they hire locally, people here also shop here. They rent here. So the economy comes back. It benefits everybody locally. And that's what I want to do, okay, to help small businesses. And number three, again, just as your family and my family, we have benefited from previous generations' hard work of making sure that we get a good education. We need to protect that education. We need to expand the specialized high schools. We need to put more money into gifted and talented programs, okay? So our children can excel in a subject, okay, that they wish, whether it's the arts or the mathematics or engineering, so they can fully be able to develop and achieve the American dream. And through the education, that's how we bring more technology and help our community to advance and to create more businesses and more jobs. Those three would be my top three, as well as affordable housing.
Yeah, that is a big problem.
Not everybody can afford Skyview. Let's be honest.
That's right.
You know,
people are moving from New York State, and we lost one seat in Congress just because. A lot of people.
Yes, over the last 10 years, there has been more people leaving New York State than coming here. We need to change that. If our state is to grow and prosper, we need to help small businesses as well as to help our seniors to be able to stay here. That's why we need more senior housing, affordable housing, deeply affordable housing. And I'm sure, working with the state, working with private developers, we can find ways to develop senior housing and affordable housing. We've done that before. In the 1950s, through the Mitchell Lama housing program, hundreds of thousands of affordable housing was built. 1950s.
50, okay.
Yeah, you know, in Chinatown, you see the Confucius Plaza. So those are all Mitchell Lama housing programs. If you go north of my district, Mitchell Linden, that's also part of that Mitchell Lama program. It's pretty much a government guaranteeing the loan, and in exchange, the developers will get a profit, a small profit, but they would be able to build affordable housing because again, not everybody can afford Skyview, million-dollar houses, condos. You know, there are a lot of people working class. They work 30, 40 years. They're not able to put a down payment to purchase their home. And like in my family, in our culture, you know, home is everything. Home and family is everything. That's why we work so hard. That's why my parents work so hard, and that's why you and your viewers work so hard, because we want to build our own home, okay, where we feel safe, where we can enjoy the holidays.
Right. And Kenneth, so far, how many who endorse you for the primary elections?
So I'm very proud to get endorsement from Hispanic leader Martha Flores Vasquez, who's the district leader covering in Assembly District 40, as well as the New York City Asian American Democratic Club, as well as the newest club, Asian Waive Alliance. We have been partnering with a lot of different political clubs as well as community organizations to fight hate, to combat the violence. Because the last few years we have seen our government is not doing enough. and we can't just wait, okay, for our government to take action. We need to work together, work closer together to do that. And one of the major things we want to push is for the government to add Asian American history into the education curriculum, because we are just as American as any other American. Unfortunately,
yeah, that's good.
Unfortunately, they don't see enough of us. They don't understand our contributions, whether it's the Pakistani community or the Chinese community. We've been here, okay, over 100 years, 200 years, and very quietly, okay, we have contributed to what America is, what New York is, and for future generations, if they get to learn that and understand that, maybe they will be, okay, more accepting of us. Maybe they wouldn't look at somebody that's wearing a turban or somebody that is Muslim, okay, as something weird, you know, because we are all Americans, and we all want the same thing.
Right. And Kenneth, like, you are a second generation immigrant, and your decision to run for election, it means you break the barrier. So what do you think to break the barrier and to be part of the elected system of this country or the state? So what does it mean to you? What do you think, how hard is this to run for the election for a first generation or a second generation immigrant?
I think running for anything is hard, okay, especially a political election like running for state assembly. It means, okay, knocking on tens of thousands of doors, as well as having volunteers and workers, okay, to knock on more doors. Phone banking, also one of the hardest.
You need a lot of resources too.
Yeah, also, okay, fundraising. Democracy is not cheap, and I'm not a rich person, and I have to lean on, okay, many friends and family, small business owners, okay, to donate to the campaign, so we can print things, so we can get the word out. At the end of the day, it still comes down to having to speak to the voters, and for them to understand and remember the importance of their voice, which through voting, which is the most important. In the primary, traditionally, 10%, 15% of the population votes. We need to move that up. We need to educate people. It's very, very important that they go out to vote.
Thank you. And you know, in your district, a lot of Pakistani Muslim voters also, and South Asian voters based in your district. So if you elect a state assemblyman, so what does it would means for immigrant communities in District 40? So,
as a son of immigrants, and having worked closely over the last 17 years with all walks of life, okay, especially Asians, whether it's Pakistanis, Bangladesh, Indians, Koreans, Chinese, one of the major things that we have not achieved is a seat at the table. Just having a seat at a table for our government to hear our concerns from people directly, from small business owners directly, because policies are only good, okay, coming from regular folks, not from some research paper that the government pays tens of millions of dollars that might not even be practical in real life. Many of our government, okay, they have not worked one single day in their life, okay, running a small businesses or working at McDonald's. They work in the offices most of their life, and they don't understand what's happening outside. But if elected, the first thing I would do is create community advisory councils to make sure that local leaders, local rabbis, local imams, okay, and local monks, okay, as well as small business owners to be part of it. I will have a housing committee. I would have, okay, a faith committee to make sure that, okay, we are talking to each other. Especially the last few years, far too often, Chinese talk within Chinese, Pakistanis talk within Pakistanis. You have, okay, Jewish talking to Jewish, but we need real leadership to say, hey, let's come together and start talking, because what I'm hearing is what we all want is the same thing, but we can do so much more, okay, so much better, okay, when we work together. And then when I take those voices, that unity to Albany or to City Hall, and then say, hey, everybody in my district, they want more police, or they want better benefits for our seniors, or they want help for small businesses. It empowers me to get more for them. So the first thing is building advisory councils, so they have a direct say to be part of my office.
Right. And you spoke about public safety. It's a big concern for everybody in New York. there is another concern in Asian American community, that is hate crime. So what do you think? What measures needs to? What are you satisfied? What measures are being taken to take care of the hate crimes? And if not, what needs to be done? Because this is the biggest concern in Asian American community, so, the hate crime. You know.
Before I absolutely agree, and to quickly answer it, no, our government is not doing enough. This is a serious matter that is going to take years to overcome. It requires comprehensive plan to step-by-step work towards. As I said earlier, number one, we need to add Asian American history into the education curriculum, so they understand that we are just like them. We have contributed to fighting for America, for New York. We have contributed to the economy of New York. We are just as hardworking as any other American. So that's number one. Number two is we need our government to reflect the people. Asians, as a population, is about 16%. We need to take a look at all.
16% in New York?
Yes.
Talking about New York or US?
New York City.
Okay.
In New York State, it's about 9%.
9%. So 16% in New York
are Asians.
City.
Yes.
And state-wise, we are 9%.
Correct.
Okay.
So we need to. I would take a look at all the agencies and all the departments that there is to see if they have enough Asians, because again, our government needs to reflect the people.
Right.
It makes our government better, as well as to add the language availability. A lot of times when I used to work in the state assembly and the state senate, as well as city council, when we're serving constituents, regular people, they come from all walks of life and they speak different languages. A language is very, very important for them to understand. It would be disrespectful for me to speak English to a Pakistani that only speaks Urdu. So I would hope that I can call these agencies to be able to speak in a language that they understand. That's how we can really help people.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Kenneth Chiu, I would like you to look into the camera and directly address our Pakistani American community and give your message as candidate and your election. What would you like to say to the Pakistani American community?
Again, I'm Kenneth Chiu. I'm running for New York State Assembly. Just like you, I come from a working class family, and I've been serving the community for 17 years. What has going on for the last few years during the pandemic and before, we need to change. We need to keep our community safe. We need to really work together. And when we work together, we can create a better Flushing, a better district, a better city, and a better state. Only when we work together can we overcome all the challenges that we are facing, whether it's the economy, or whether it's inflation or housing. Without you, I'm powerless. So please make your voice heard. June 28th is primary day. If you're not available that day, June 16 through June 26, June 18 through June 26, you can vote early. Any way possible, go vote. Vote Kenneth Chiu. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. So ये हम Kenneth Chiu के साथ मौजूद थे और वो बता रहे थे कि 28 जून को न्यूयॉर्क सिटी में उनके प्राइमरी इलेक्शन होने जा रहे हैं और न्यूयॉर्क सिटी में फ्लशिंग के डिस्ट्रिक्ट 40 में अगर आप रहते हैं तो ज़रूर वोट डालने जाएं और बाकी जिस डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में भी रहते हैं उनमें भी वोट डालने जाएं। ये वोट ही हमारी ताकत है। हम पाकिस्तान में जो पॉलिटिक्स होती है उसमें बड़ी दिलचस्पी लेते हैं, लेकिन हम यहाँ पर रहते हैं, यहाँ पे हमारा और हमारी आने वाली नस्लों का मुस्तकबिल है। सो ये लोग कल को इलेक्ट होते हैं तो अवान में पहुँचते तो हमें रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे। इनके बारे में जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है, इलेक्शन में हिस्सा लेना बहुत ज़रूरी है। आप जिसको भी मुनासिब समझते हैं उसे वोट दें, लेकिन वोट ज़रूर दें। बराए करम जून 28 को प्राइमरी इलेक्शन हो रहे हैं। अमेरिका में बिलअमूम बड़ा लो टर्नआउट होता है प्राइमरी इलेक्शंस में। सो मैं एक बार फिर कहूँगा थैंक यू वेरी मच। ये हमारे साथ केनेथ चू थे, इनका आज हमने इंटरव्यू किया, इनके बारे में आपको बारे में सब कुछ बताया। और भी कोई आपको क्वेश्चंस हो, आपके कमेंट्स हों तो प्लीज़ इस वीडियो में अपने कमेंट्स भी ज़रूर दें, हमें अपना फीडबैक भी ज़रूर दें, हमें और क्या कुछ करना चाहिए इन इलेक्शंस के हवाले से और कम्युनिटी की पार्टिसिपेशन को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बढ़ाने के हवाले से क्या करना चाहिए। सो मैं मिस्टर केनेथ चू आपका थैंक यू सो मच for being with us. It was very nice talking to you. We will see you again, inshallah.
Thank you very, very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, and good luck and best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.